12 ancient UK laws that will leave you speechless. Britain is famous for its rich history, but it's also home to some of the strangest laws you'll ever hear about. From rules about salmon to centuries-old archery obligations, the UK's legal past is packed with quirks that feel almost unbelievable today. While many of these rules are no longer enforced, they still linger in the law books or in tradition. This list explores 12 ancient UK laws that will leave you speechless, reminding us that history is sometimes stranger than fiction. 1. No eating mince pies on Christmas Day. In the mid-1600s, England was ruled by Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan Parliament. Determined to remove what they saw as sinful indulgences, they banned Christmas festivities. That included feasting, drinking, and even enjoying traditional mince pies and plum pudding. Technically, the law wasn't about mince pies alone. It was a blanket ban on Christmas. The idea of being arrested for eating a mince pie sounds comical today, but it reflected a genuine push to reshape society along religious lines. The law was scrapped with the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, and now mince pies remain a proud staple of British Christmas tables. 2. Don't stand before the monarch without socks. In medieval England, royal court etiquette was no joke. Laws and customs governed how one could appear before the monarch. Among them was a strict rule requiring courtiers and visitors to wear stockings or socks in the presence of the king. Bare legs were considered indecent, a serious breach of protocol. While this law is more etiquette than criminal statute, it highlights just how heavily image and presentation mattered in medieval society. Standing before the king without proper stockings could lead to embarrassment, or worse, banishment from court. It might sound ridiculous now, but back then, fashion was a form of loyalty. 3. A whale belongs to the crown. Imagine strolling along the coast and spotting a beached whale. In medieval England, you couldn't just drag it home for a feast. By the Statute of Edward II, 1324, whales, sturgeons and porpoises were declared royal fish. That meant they were property of the crown. This law was not just symbolic, it was practical. Whale meat was valuable, and oil from the blubber was essential for lamps. To ensure these resources didn't slip into private hands, they were claimed by the monarch. Even today, the Crown technically owns any royal fish found in English waters. Though rarely enforced, the law still makes appearances in quirky headlines. 4. Don't handle salmon suspiciously. The Salmon Act 1986 is a modern reminder of how strangely worded laws can be. It makes it an offence to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. The intention was to curb illegal salmon fishing and trading, but the phrasing has kept the law on weird law lists for decades. Imagine a police officer demanding to know why you're carrying a salmon at night. While it's a law aimed at poachers, the language creates a funny mental image. In practice, it can still be applied if someone is found with illegally caught fish. This proves that not all ancient laws are medieval. Some odd ones are still alive today. 5. Armour in Parliament forbidden. In 1313, King Edward II passed a law banning anyone from entering Parliament with force of arms or in armour. This statute forbidding bearing of armour came about because medieval politics was heated, literally. Lords and knights once showed up in full gear, ready to settle disputes by force. The ban ensured debates were safer, at least in theory. Imagine today's MPs clanking into Westminster in full suits of chainmail. Though no one enforces it now, the law still technically exists. It's a curious reminder of how dangerous political life once was in medieval Britain. 6. It's illegal to be drunk in a pub. Yes, you heard that correctly. According to the Licensing Act 1872, it's against the law to be drunk on licensed premises. That means you can legally buy a drink, but you can't get too intoxicated. The law was created to deal with alcohol abuse during the Victorian era, when gin and beer flowed freely and public drunkenness was a major concern. Police officers can, in theory, arrest anyone found drunk in a public house. While rarely enforced today, the law technically still stands. Next time you see someone slumped over a pint, they could be breaking an ancient law. 7. All men over 14 must practice archery. Archery was England's national defence strategy in the Middle Ages. To maintain readiness for war, laws were passed, most notably under Edward III, that required all men over 14 to practice longbow shooting. Sundays were reserved for archery practice, often enforced by local officials. This law was serious. The longbow helped England secure victories at battles like Agincourt, 1415. Archery wasn't a hobby, it was a national duty. Though no longer enforced, the law technically remained on the books for centuries. Today, it's remembered as one of those historical oddities that feels almost unbelievable. 8. Don't beat your rug in London streets. Under the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, it's illegal to beat or shake carpets, rugs or mats in the street. The exception: doormats could be shaken before 8 a.m. The law was meant to keep dust and dirt from spreading in public spaces. It's a law that makes sense in Victorian London, where hygiene and public health were major concerns. But the idea of being fined for shaking a rug seems surreal today. Technically, this law is still in force, though no one's been hauled to court for rug shaking in recent years. 9. No cows on the streets of London. Also, under the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, it was made illegal to drive cattle through the streets of London without permission. With the city already bustling with horses, carts and people, loose cows could cause chaos. Farmers once drove their animals into the city for markets, creating traffic jams and hazards. This law was an attempt to restore order. Though outdated, it still technically exists. Today, you're unlikely to see cows wandering down Oxford Street, but if you did, the law would still apply. 10. It's illegal to gamble in a library. Libraries have long been considered places of learning, not leisure. Local bylaws across Britain prohibited gambling or playing cards in libraries. The idea was to protect the library's reputation as a respectable educational space. While you won't find librarians storming poker games today, some of these bylaws technically remain in effect. They reflect the Victorian push to separate serious spaces from places of vice. It's one of those rules that makes sense in principle, but sounds bizarre when spoken out loud. No blackjack in the library. 11. Carrying planks on the pavement. Under the Town Police Clauses, Act 1847, it is illegal to carry any plank, pole, ladder or bar along the pavement, if it inconveniences others. The same law also banned sliding on ice, flying kites in the street, or making annoying noises. This law is a snapshot of Victorian life, where towns were growing rapidly, and officials tried to keep order with catch-all legislation. The broad wording means many unusual activities were criminalised. While rarely applied now, the law technically still stands. 12. The monarch owns all unmarked swans. Since the Middle Ages, the Crown has claimed ownership of all unmarked mute swans in open waters. Known as the royal prerogative, this law symbolised wealth and power. Swans were considered a delicacy at royal banquets, so keeping control of them was important. Today, the tradition is upheld through the annual swan-upping ceremony on the River Thames, where swans are counted and marked. While no one eats swans anymore, the Crown's ownership remains part of British tradition. It's one of the most famous ancient UK laws still technically valid, though now it's ceremonial. These 12 ancient UK laws that will leave you speechless remind us how much times have changed, and how some rules linger long past their usefulness. Quirky, curious, and often comical, they're proof that history always has a strange sense of humour. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell.